Welcome back to the really information-packed Price of Business show. I do want to remind you over at usdailyreview.com, the national news website, I've got my interview with U.S. Senator Rand Paul, the last one he gave before the Iowa caucus. He did better than what most people fared. It'll be interesting to see how he goes along, but it was a very lengthy interview that I did on the Price of Business national TV show, now archived at usdailyreview.com. Check it out. Also, speaking of Iowa caucus, I really had to get my good friend Doug Williamson on the program, and I love the work that he does. He's been a contributor on the show for quite some time, and we love talking about what's happening on the political front. I consider him very savvy, and I want to encourage you to check out his website, thepatriotsview.com. thepatriotsview.com, and to learn more about his excellent book, which I think is very important, Thoughts of an American Taxpayer. You know, and in light of the kind of people that people are gravitating towards, real outsiders in this election, this is a book that's really kind of a manifesto for outsiders. Wouldn't you say you probably had outsiders in mind when you wrote it, didn't you, Doug?
Well, I sure did, Kevin, because I sure didn't have mainstream in mind, because, I mean, these guys have just gone off the deep end, haven't they?
They really have.
I tell you, I caught a snippet of Hillary's little deal last night, and she said that you want to vote for me or vote for, a Republican that'll divide us, and everything, and that's all her boss has done for the last 7 years.
That's exactly right. You know, I would think that an endorsement from Barack Obama would be the kiss of death, and she's been savoring every moment of that, and the media has been promoting it like a good thing. This guy has the most negative ratings since Richard Nixon did in 1974.
And that's amazing with the media, the lapdog media that he has,
Yes, unbelievable. So what about Monday? You know, the media is trying to project that it was a surprise that Ted Cruz won. I've been saying all along, Ted Cruz is going to win. You know, Donald Trump's people are so uninformed, they had to do an educational video on how to caucus. Donald Trump's daughter did an educational video on how to caucus. You know, they're thinking they're watching The Voice, reality TV, and they can get on the phone and make a difference. Ted Cruz had a very well-oiled machine, and the shock would have been, in spite of the polls, who cares who they say they're going to support? They got to show up to support. Ted Cruz's people did. What did you think?
They did, and I mean, he had a great ground game, which is he went back to old school, which is just amazing. That everybody thought, well, that doesn't work anymore, and it seemed to work for him. And I think it's probably going to work, and hopefully it works in New Hampshire too. It's. Cruz gave a great speech last night. I saw part of it. I mean, he went on a little bit too long for me, but I mean, he thanked everybody, and I mean, gave thanks to everybody and the good Lord and everything else. So I mean, it's the guy's a class act, and I mean, he's probably out of every candidate out there, he's probably one of the top runners, one of the best candidates, to be running. Rubio did a little bit better than what I thought he would do, but I mean, him with that gang of 8, I mean, that just hangs around his neck like. That's just going to kill him. I mean, he's just not who he says he is.
Yeah, I can't stand Rubio, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he really treats us all like useful idiots.
Yeah, he's a fraud. I mean,
he's a fraud.
But the establishment, here's the thing that Rubio's got for him, the establishment, like Previs and all those guys, all the Republican establishment, they want this guy because they can control him. They can't control a Cruz or a Trump or a Carson, someone like that, or a Rand Paul, as far as that goes.
No, especially a Rand Paul, to be honest with you. He'd probably be the hardest to control, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think I've never seen the establishment more impotent than I had this year, and it's about time.
Exactly, yeah. All their guys, what the most one of their guys got besides Rubio was like 2%, right? Or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it was a pounding. And meanwhile, guys like Mike Huckabee, where's Mike Huckabee's support going to go? I think it's going to go to Ted Cruz.
I think so, too. The evangelicals and the more religious people, and everything. That's not to say, you got to be religious to vote for Cruz, but, I mean, sure, that's one of his strong beliefs. I mean, he's a strong believer in the Constitution and right and wrong. I mean, we got this guy's turned everything upside down. What's right was wrong, and what's wrong was right.
He's a three-legged stool Reagan conservative. National security, social issues, and financial freedom, economic freedom. That's the three-legged stool that made Reagan so successful. I think Ted Cruz epitomizes that more than any other candidate.
I think so too, Kevin. I really do agree with you there because, I mean, the guy, and he can articulate it. I mean, some of these guys may believe that, but they can't get the point across and articulate it like he can.
Yeah, I think he probably performs fairly poorly in New Hampshire because people don't have to be Republicans to vote in a Republican primary in New Hampshire.
Right.
And so there's going to be people who are going to just try to torpedo Cruz. I think establishment people are going to do well. I actually kind of think Marco Rubio might pull off New Hampshire. I could be wrong, although he's saying it's not going to happen there yet. It's going to be in the South, he says, before he gets traction. But I don't see Cruz doing particularly well. But good luck to anyone competing against Cruz on Super Tuesday. He's got an incredible machine throughout the South.
What did you think about the Socialist Party? They're running 50-50. They had to have 6 coin tosses in 6 counties, and Hillary won every one of them.
Yeah, lucky her. Makes you wonder who provided those coins. I wonder if Bill Clinton's head was on both sides of him.
I believe you're right there, sir.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think that they are in serious trouble. The good news for Hillary, I guess, is that she's gotten, Bernie's got zero traction in the South.
Right.
Blacks aren't interested in voting for Bernie Sanders in the South. And he cannot resonate with blacks for whatever reason.
Right.
Hardcore socialists, generally speaking, really only appeal, in this case, he appeals to all these college students because, free education, I need that, and to rich people who can afford liberal policies. They're the only ones who really like socialists.
And there's no such thing as a free lunch or free school or free anything, is there?
No such thing. Absolutely not. And it's paid for at the expense of other people and other things. And so the fantasy world, someone like him lives in. And what's interesting is that truly for poor people, they ought to get free college education anyway.
Right.
He's really helping the middle and upper middle class with that policy, which I find ironic, don't you?
Well, I sure do. And I mean, it's just sort of asinine, really. I mean, I worked my way through college. I went 4 years of college, and I worked my way every year, So, I mean, and I feel like I appreciate it a lot more. I wasn't able to go out and party and everything. I worked, sometimes 30 hours a week or maybe even up to 40, and then the rest of the time was spent in the books or sleeping.
There you go. I think it's interesting. So, what is your thoughts about New Hampshire? I think it's going to be a bad night in New Hampshire for Hillary. I do believe that. I believe Bernie's going to win that solidly. But what about what is your thoughts about that, and your thoughts about the Republicans in New Hampshire?
Well, I agree with you. I don't know how Ted's going to do in New Hampshire. I mean, it is like a different deal than Iowa, and all these states seem to be different. I can't keep up which one's which, but I mean, they're all different in how they do this stuff and everything. But I think he's going to have a little bit tougher time there. But I don't know. He's got a good message, and Hillary and Hillary, should be in prison, nothing else for lying to the families of those people that got killed. I mean, those heroes and patriots, they got killed in Benghazi. I mean, I still don't understand. And her emails. I mean, this lady's got so many charges that should be filed against her. I don't know why she's still walking around.
It's shocking.
If that was you or me, Kevin, we'd already be underneath the jail.
Oh, absolutely. We'd have life sentences. No question about it. Yeah, 22 top secret emails this last week alone being discovered. And the media really underplays it, in my opinion. Yeah. Thoughts of an American Taxpayer. That's the book. And the author is Doug Williamson. He's a regular on the Price of Business. Love having you on, buddy. ThePatriotsView.com, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kevin. Have me on. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here, it shows up over there at USDataReview.com, and this is The Price of Business.